So just like previous project, every time we add a URL, it gets added in the container with a picture and a button that says get result. Alright, it seems okay for now, but we need to get this function triggered every time someone clicks on that get result button. So to do that, before we do that, let's get rid of this function. We don't need it anymore. And we need the load image URL function, and this part we don't need it. Let's save it, and we need to trigger this function when someone clicks on the button. So from here, all you have to do is just change the test function to get result, save it, and now let's give it a try with the let's give this a try. Let's give this a try. Let's give this a try. Well, it depends on the time. It responds your data back from the test.js server, probably 5 to 6 seconds based on the tests I've run. On this framework, I've seen about on an average of 6 to 7 seconds response time. So I need to figure out why the spinners are not loading. Alright, I missed a step. We need to pass the object, and we're trying to access the ID so that the response can be attached to that HTML element. So let's refresh this, upload the URL. Alright, so the animation part is not working, but here's the text from it, which is not correct or right at all. This is something from the previous image they have. So for this part, we need to pass the image value. How are we going to get that? All we need to do is just use this code. This is where our whole image is going to be. Paste it in there. Get rid of this. Save it. Upload the URL. Click on get result. Give it a few seconds, and there we go. We have the result now. As you see, the accuracy of this model is quite impressive, although it is not close to perfection, but it is somewhat better for small projects like this. The quality of this content response totally depends on the quality of pictures you provide. If you are sure that you're going to give a very good lighting condition and a very clear resolution of picture, your results are going to be much better. To try that, let's give it a try with another picture. How about this part? How about this one? Alright, let's test with this picture. Alright, when I try to get the result, it says S2218 3%, which is absolutely terrible compared to the original picture. However, if you try with some other pictures, I tried this picture, they wouldn't allow this. Okay, so this was the previous picture that our test rack was making a call when we load this function. This was already well trained by TestRack.js model, so the result must be much better than any other results we've seen so far. Well, it still has some minor issues, but I would say it is about 90% accuracy because this kind of text has been already trained. So the model actually knows what text it is and it can try to correct some errors by itself. Alright, so now the interesting part has been over, and now it's just a routine process. You're going to save this or copy this part, and you're going to go to my GitHub repository again, go to my folder, then you click on the tool that we use for converting the HTML code to hex code. Clear this part and paste the content that we just copied. And from this, there are only two important factors that you will be using. The first part is the length, and the second part is copy all the hex code except the first comma. Now open your Arduino IDE, go to your files, examples, go to Esp32 camera and a web server. So it will basically open a default example for your Esp32CAM project. Firstly, comment out this model. We're not going to use that. In my case, it has to be an AI thinker. And here I will be changing my password to my Wi-Fi and the SSID as my Wi-Fi name. And here's the important part. If we are going to use the 2640 camera, alright, here is some important factors to be careful or in considering. Firstly, if we are using 2640 camera, all this code is going to change. If you're some other case where your camera is 3660, you will have to change the code in here. In my case, this is the place I will be changing all the code because my camera model is 2640. The hex code that we just copied will be replaced here. Well, it looks a little ugly. It's not really formatted, but it is fine as long as you don't copy the first comma. Well, we're not done yet. We need to get the length of this whole hex code, that is 25545. And everything stays the same. Well, in here I'll be replacing my password, and then once I'm done I will just upload the code to my ESP32CAM.